I was actually diagnosed first, and my tumor was, I was diagnosed at 42, and my tumor was so big that they didn't know if I was going to live or die at that point. I was diagnosed at stage 3. That was when my mom sold her house and moved up here to kind of take care of me, as I had 3 little kids. You know, went through mastectomy, chemotherapy, lost all my hair, mouth sores, no eyebrows, you know, the whole horror of the disease.
Yeah.
And then after that, about 18 months later, my father was diagnosed with breast cancer.
And then 5 years later, bang.
Yeah.
Then
right.
then I had to tell her that I had breast cancer also.
I guess I'm very lucky that I come from a very resilient family, you know,
Right.
one that just tells you to
Right.
pull up your pants and get on with life, you know.
Exactly.
Because I think that, sorry, you have to be kind of tough, you know, to make it through. You
Yeah.
really do, because
When
it gives you a tremendous blow. You know, I taught kindergarten the year that I had no hair, and I thought that, you know, people had offered to buy me a wig, and I thought, oh, you know, kindergarten kids probably would never tell you, right? You know, that your wig wasn't on straight. I thought it'd be like, you know, big comb over or something, and the kids would be like, oh, you know, hello, Mrs. Rush, how are you? And the amazing thing was that the following year in kindergarten, I had a little girl who had cancer.
Right.
And she was going through a lot of treatment, and she also was bald. She ended up dying like 2 years later, but you know, it was amazing for she and I to be kind of going through the same thing at the same time. It was almost like God had gifted me with the understanding of what it was like, so that I could teach her. So I had a hat made rather than wearing a wig. It said no hair day. So I wore that the whole year till my baby fuzz came back. And I had a little girl with the most beautiful red hair in my kindergarten class, beautiful locks, wavy, gorgeous hair. And she was in first grade that year. I'd taught her the year before, and she used to come and stand in front of my classroom door, and she would just stand there and she'd go, poor Mrs. Rush. And then she'd move on. And it was funny, but then I found out that when she was in 8th grade that she had been growing her hair for the last 5 years to give it up for locks of love. So you never know where your inspiration ends, you know?